Hey guys,
I'm Jerry.
I'm Sierra,
We're ladies.
and we tangent.
What's up, everyone?
It's us, bitch. I had to.
Oh, yeah. Can you guys guess what this episode is about?
It's only what everybody has been telling us to do. This is a story about a girl named Lucky.
I love that.
I know.
Can I tell you something
Can you?
that Jamie Lynn's doing right now?
I honestly forget she exists, all the time.
I feel bad because any younger sibling of a famous person, or any sibling in general of a famous person, you're just so-and-so's sibling.
Yeah.
Like, even Miley Cyrus, her older siblings, like her older brother is in Metro Station, and
I don't know anything about any of her siblings.
yeah, well, Noah Cyrus, but that's Miley's little sister, but
Yeah.
she's also incredibly talented. Anyway, Jamie Lynn made some kind of comment about how we're going to go back in a second and do an actual intro, but this is on my mind. She made some comment about how she's one of the only people on her family's or who's not on her sister's payroll. And
Why should you be?
she's coming out with a memoir.
Of course she is.
Right now. What timing, first of all. Second of all, do you know what it's called?
What?
I Must Confess.
Oh.
You couldn't even pick one of your own lyrics?
I didn't even realize.
You had to pick one of Britney's lyrics?
That's not even. I don't like her. I'm not a fan.
Here's the thing. I don't want to say anything negative about these people because...
Oh, yeah. Right. Me neither.
As far as... I don't know dick from dick.
Yeah.
Okay? About this shit. All I know is from the media.
Yeah.
And all I know...
We can't trust the media. I'll tell you right now because...
We can and we can't.
We can and we can't.
We got to toe a thin line with this whole meeting.
Yeah.
There's a guy down the street who's got a poster board.
Fake news.
He went and took time to purchase a poster board, put it on metal stakes, and wrote, "The media is our enemy."
Oh, no.
And I was like, I don't know.
They're not that bad.
I think,
I would say definitely early 2000s media was worse.
Oh, I think that we need to hold any kind of corporation or any kind of grouping of anything accountable. I think checks and balances need to be made in every aspect for any kind of little pocket of people.
Yeah.
I can't think of the words. I keep just coming up with different ways to say this thing that I can't formulate.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys know what I mean.
I know, but I'm here with you.
But I don't know Jamie Lynn. I don't know any of her business. I don't know what she's doing. I don't know how all of this has affected her. So I think the problem that maybe we should go back and we're talking about Britney Spears.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Free Britney movement.
They read the...
Yeah, oh yeah, you guys know the title and shit. But I don't know how this affected her, and I think the problem with everything in the beginning, going all the way back to early 2000s, is that we didn't consider those things when we just started talking about people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now,
okay,
I don't
I don't
necessarily like I
Can
just
I
think
say
it's bad
I hate
timing.
her dad?
I don't have good things to say about him.
I hate him.
I don't have good things to say about him, I'll be honest.
So I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm indifferent on her mom.
Yeah, same.
Because she has spoken out about it. She's been one of the only ones in the family that I found.
I have been deep diving into videos of this, and they just keep getting more and more conspiracy theory.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But they're referencing actual documents.
Yeah.
So anytime there's spooky music and then some text comes up on a screen and they're highlighting different parts, I don't even read it. I'm just like, this is legit.
This has to be legit. It's in a court document.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Or it's not even some of it's just leaked emails, and I'm like, could not possibly be faked.
Yeah.
This is definitely legit.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. We could go to a regular intro. Oh wait, did you say what you were going to say about Jamie? Oh yeah, you did. I must confess.
Yeah, I must confess.
No,
Which just just pick your. I got beef with your timing.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about you as a human being. I got beef with your timing of your memoir because it seems a little opportunistic. I'll be honest.
on your sister's tragedies.
Yes, and you could have used your own lyrics. Is all I'm saying. And
Did
pick
she
something.
write a song?
I don't know. She sang the Zoe 101 theme song.
Oh,
There
okay.
could be something in that. I'm sure.
Yeah. Pick something from Zoe 101.
Yeah.
I never watched it, but
So, regular intro.
anything new?
I don't know. Did you shit yourself?
I haven't shit in 2 weeks.
Oh my.
Can you believe it?
Yes.
I can't.
Pregnancy.
It hurts.
Someone told me one time that they hadn't shit in so long when they were pregnant, they had to fish hook their own asshole and like
Well,
get
I'm very
those suckers
scared
out.
that I'm almost there. I'll be honest. I'm at the point where I'll do just about anything to take a shitterooskies.
Did you try the bidet?
I haven't yet, but I just thought as I was thinking that I was like, I wonder if I should shoot that into my butthole. I think I'm just so scared for when it actually does come out because I've had hemorrhoids.
Yeah, well,
and they're scary.
They'll be back.
Oh, I know.
They will be back.
I'm scared.
Well, the fear keeps it in.
I know.
The fear keeps it in, and that's dangerous.
It is
because when it
dangerous.
comes out, it's just gonna have a wrath.
It's gonna be a monster.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. I did get my first. When are you due? Oh, really? Oh, you have that much longer to go?
Ew.
And I was like, yeah. I was like, rude.
Ew.
Honestly, I don't even think I'm that big. So first of all,
I think
relax.
You're adorable.
It might have been because I was like huffing and puffing, but it's fucking hot outside.
Yeah, it is hot outside.
Leave me alone.
Now, I will say, I remember, what are you, 25?
24.
Okay. When I was 26 weeks, I got maternity photos taken.
Mm-hmm.
My friend and I swapped photos. And I remember getting this dress on and feeling like, it's a little big. I'm just so tiny.
Yeah.
26 weeks is like super kind of early to take these pictures, but whatever. And in my mind, I was petite.
Yeah.
I was just itty bitty. And then now I look at those photos and I'm like, oh, oh, baby girl. I don't think that you look like that, but.
Well, I'll get there because apparently within the next 4 weeks is when she's going to be packing on the pounds, they told me. Yeah. And they're like, so, you're going to get big. And I was like, bitch, I am there. Or at least it feels like it.
In my experience, and the thing that was so comforting to me is you gain what you need to gain.
Yeah.
Like, don't stress.
Yeah.
There's no point in thinking about it. You're going to gain what you gain. You're going to lose what you lose.
Well, I've only gained like 9 pounds.
That's good.
But that's not true.
But I'm a liar.
I've gained 14 because I lost like a bunch in the beginning when I was super sick.
I got so angry whenever I had lost weight and then they like added it on and I was like, no.
Yeah, I started at this.
You start from my start weight.
Yeah.
Don't you start from my weight when I was sick.
My start weight was this weight. It's not
Yeah.
my fault I lost 5 pounds.
Yeah.
6, whatever.
I don't even own a scale now.
I don't either. It's just I have to go every week and they measure me and I'm like,
Yep.
"Ugh, I don't want to see it. And then they say it out loud. I'm like, shh, are you fucking serious? I
But
don't care.
we don't care.
No, that's what I'm saying. I actually literally don't care.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm just like, numbers. Numbers.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
I got into, the only time it was concerning is when like there was an expected amount that you were supposed to gain from like 1 week to another. And I gained 13 pounds in a week. In a week. And
That's
so
got
that's
nothing on what happened to me when I was on bed rest, but
really?
oh yeah.
That's like concerning though.
Oh, I know. I gained like over 50 pounds in the time that I was on bed rest.
No. 13 pounds in 7 days means
I
I'm
was only
putting
on
on
bed rest for a couple weeks.
putting on 2 pounds a day is a lot.
Well, yeah. You're fine. Was it towards the end?
Yeah.
It was all water.
And well, that's what I'm saying is like, had they taken notice of that, I had too much fluid.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not concerned about that number. I'm concerned at the fact that like you're not supposed to gain 13 pounds in 1 week.
That's true. And yeah, they probably should have taken note of that because
been like,
that's
hey, where's this come from?
maybe we should check your levels here because it seems like a lot.
Yeah, and so had I actually put myself into labor when I was riding around on a lawnmower trying to pop my water, that could have been good information to have.
That would have been bad times.
Yeah.
So what's new with you?
Not a goddamn thing, honestly.
Goddamn thing?
No, fuck, what's happening? This is busy season, so honestly, like
life is a blur.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am full fledged, full full nudity, full frontal. I'm full frontal with wedding season right now.
Oh no.
And it's going very fast. And I told Shane yesterday that like every time I looked at my phone, I had a new email, and I'm scheduling like 1,000 things, and I don't know. It's a lot.
Do you have like something you can write things down in? Because
yes, but I have 1,000 things.
I know.
I'm a collector of journals.
Me too.
Okay,
and I never write in any of them.
No, I like the way they look. I love the intent.
Yeah.
I love just my heart when I purchase a journal.
I want to do this. I'm going to be
or
a
calendar.
better person.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That Shane for my birthday got, I don't know what that says, but he got me a schedule. He got me a planner, and then he got me 2 additional like daily and weekly like what's that called, like notepads.
Yeah.
They're not unwrapped. It's been almost a month since my birthday.
Well, I remember when you got me something like that for Christmas? It took me until probably June to unwrap it.
Did I?
You got me like a planner. That was like our first year that we did the podcast.
I did? I thought I got you pants.
You did get me pants, but you also got me a planner.
Oh. See, I love a planner. I'm buying it for
you.
I'm buying it for me. Everybody's getting planners.
You were like, I know that you want to be like this kind of person. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. Then that was the year of 2020. And I was like, do I want to write in this?
Ain't nobody making plans this year.
Plans.
Ain't nobody need plans this year.
So it was a nice thought, but I didn't really use it that much because what was I going to write down? I had no appointments.
Yeah. Every time I open my calendars app, because like I will put stuff in there because it alerts Shane too.
That's what I like. Yeah.
It's just got 1,000 dots. Like the whole thing. I've got like a
dots
mega bingo. Yeah. Yeah.
That's intense. Oh, I did get a really bad sunburn.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What's it like being in the
sun? Honestly, it's the first time my skin's seen vitamin D in like 4 years.
Is it?
It is.
Same, because I've been pregnant for the last 4 years.
Well, you could go in the sun when you're pregnant.
I can't.
You know.
I couldn't.
No.
No, it's too hot.
Well, that's why I got a pool, so I've just been able to sit. That's the only way that I've been able to be outside.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. I know I have a vitamin D deficiency because when I got blood work, they told me that. But I was like, oh, how much could that really affect my mood? Turns out a lot.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Turns out so much.
I've been waiting for you to come out of this for a couple weeks now. When you Marco Polo'd me earlier and I saw that you were taking notes, I was like, oh, this bitch is out of her depression. What?
Finally.
Yeah.
I know. I told Corey, I was like, I have seasonal, but I have like opposite seasonal where it hits me in summer. I don't know why. It just always does. It's very annoying.
Well, you said the one time it's because like there's this expectation to be out doing a bunch of things and it just like overwhelms and you're like,
and
I
don't like being hot, so I don't want to be outside. And I just would rather sit inside, but then I scroll on social media and I see everybody outside and I'm like, what am I fucking doing with my life? Laying in bed? But now I can lay outside just in a pool and somehow feels more productive.
Yeah.
And I'm getting vitamin D, which apparently cures shit.
Well, good.
Makes me feel a lot better.
Good. Oh, shit. I'm glad.
Welcome to my life.
I know.
Beatbox into your friggin' microphone.
Speaking of beatboxing, Justin Timberlake dated Britney Spears.
Fuck him.
What a transition.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, thank you.
Honestly, I am a little mad at him after everything, just because I don't know.
How much control do you think? We're referencing the fact that he kind of, how do we want to say this? Like guided people's view of her, like kind of slut shamed her, kind of made her a villain in a storyline where he was like a sad puppy of a man who got cheated on.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go back to a little bit before that, which is when she first popped onto the scene. First of all, she was like
a child.
Well,
they met in the Mickey Mouse Club.
Yes. So this popped out at me when I watched this documentary, Framing Britney Spears. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
It's on Hulu.
Yes. This happened in 1992, okay? She's on Star Search.
Yeah.
And she's belts this ballad. Like, she's 11 years old, and she is incredible.
Yeah.
And then the host, Ed McMahon, I don't know.
Ed McMahon?
No, it's McMahon.
I think it's Ed McMahon.
Whatever the fuck. Why is it spelled McMahon?
I don't know.
That's not McMahon. If it is, I'm quitting.
Okay, hold on. Hey Siri. Because it was Star Search, right?
Yeah.
Who hosted Star Search? Star Trek 3.
Well, you know,
It was not William Shatner. Oh my God. Hold on. Siri.
McMahon. I'm going to be pissed if that's
Who
McMahon.
hosted. Fuck. What's it called?
Star Search.
Hey Siri. Show me Ed McMahon.
Edward Lee Peter McMahon Jr. was an American announcer, game show host,
I'm quitting.
That's so embarrassing.
Okay, cut that.
Nope, keeping it. Ed McMahon. Everything you say now, not credible. Not credible at all.
Oh, I just looked it up because I was like, I have to know the man's name. What a dick I'm going to be if I don't even say it. I should have just said Old Man Mahone.
But that's still a wrong part.
I know.
Say Dirty Ed.
Dirty Ed. So anyways, she gets done. She sings this beautiful ballad.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm so embarrassing. Okay. And first thing he goes over and he's like, wow, you have beautiful eyes. Your eyes are beautiful. Do you have a boyfriend? And she's like, no.
Homie, I just smashed that song.
Yeah.
You want to talk about my eyes? Let's talk about my pipes.
Exactly. And so she goes, no. And the audience laughs. And he's like, why not? And she goes, because they're mean. And the audience laughs. And she's like dead serious when you see her face. And he goes, all boys are mean? What about me? Could I be your boyfriend? And she's noticeably uncomfortable.
As am I.
Yeah.
As am I.
Like as an 11-year-old. So she's like, then she goes, I don't know. And that whole thing just made me, it was like the epitome of what they fucking did to her right off the bat, which was, yeah, you're talented and we're going to use that to milk you for your money. But really, we're going to take everything else about you. And that's really what we're trying to sell.
Yeah.
Which is so gross. Ugh. So anyways, why the fuck? Sorry, I wrote this all in order, not in order. So then we get to Baby One More Time. Okay. That fucking blows up. Did you know that went like multi-platinum, which I didn't realize if you go platinum on an album, that's if you sell 1 million records of that album. And then you can go every time you sell. It sold 11 million.
Yeah.
11 million. That is fucking insane for that era because that was like boy band era.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways.
Not to mention, this is before the internet. So, like, distribution is so much more difficult.
Yes. So, they obviously sexed her way up for that. She's 16 years old. And I remember her being on covers. And, like, I remember specifically older men hearing them be like, whoa, yeah, schoolgirl, blah. And now that I know that she was a fucking 16-year-old, that
because
makes
she
me
was older
sick.
than us. So, like, it didn't seem weird.
Mm-mm.
But now, being 30, looking...
She was a 16-year-old child, and these women were listening to their husbands talk that way about a child and just being like, because she was Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Ew. Fucking. Ugh.
Yeah.
So then she gets a little bit older. She starts dating Justin Timberlake. Now, when she's dating him, it's like the first big relationship. It's like they're literally royalty, basically. Yeah. And she goes to all these interviews, and the interviewers are like, are you a virgin? That's the first thing they ask. Why the fuck are you asking her that? That's so gross.
There are certain questions that you just like, you don't get to ask people, especially publicly.
Yeah,
like, they don't need to answer.
Teenage girls.
Yes.
What is wrong with you? Because they never ask any of the members of NSYNC, any of the members of Backstreet Boys. Don't tell me it's because she was a super famous like pop star. Because it was because she was a woman. They did it to Lindsay Lohan. They did it to friggin' who was the other? Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen.
Paris Hilton.
Jessica Simpson.
Oh, Jessica, the hyper focus around her virginity is so weird.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
It was absolutely disgusting. Especially, again, you're asking these girls, and then they would be like, haha, gotcha, if they found out they lied. I remember reading an article from a guy who was like, I slept with Britney Spears in high school. First of all, who gives a fuck?
Right.
They were dating. Even if they weren't, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
But everybody was like, oh, she lied. What do you expect her to say when you ask her that? Because her answer was, yes, I'm a virgin, and I want to wait till marriage.
Yeah.
Because that's what she was supposed to say. Because everybody else was staring at her.
Not to mention, at that point in time, her demographic, even if old men are oogling her, like, is young children. Yeah. And so now the
she
people...
was getting a lot of shit for being
provocative.
Quote, unquote, one of the governors of... I can't even remember what state it was. Probably like Alabama.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it was one of those like Arkansas, Alabama.
Yeah.
But the governor's wife literally was quoted as saying, "I want to shoot Britney Spears."
Ew, what the fuck?
Okay, they say that, and she does a TV interview, and the lady reads that, and Britney Spears goes, "Ew, ew." That's really gross to say. And they're like, "Well, you're supposed to be a role model," and she's like, "I'm not babysitting your kids." Basically, was what she was saying. Like, I'm not in charge of what your children listen to.
Right.
I'm sorry, but this is who I am.
And that's the scary thing is like during that time, kids don't have cell phones. They don't have access to the internet. They don't have the ability to like access these celebrities in any other way other than like their parents purchasing them a t-shirt or a CD or going to a concert.
And it's not their fault that you didn't pay attention enough until they were too deep into liking her to realize what she was or who she was.
And even then, now you're shaming that.
Yeah.
How's that going to make your child feel about sex in general?
That, plus, you're okay with them publicly asking about her virginity, but not about her wearing a crop top?
Yeah.
Like, what message are we sending to
Keep
little
the same
girls
energy.
here? Yes.
Yeah.
If we don't want any part of sex at all, don't fucking ask her about her sex life, you
Right.
weirdos.
Yeah.
So, cue Justin Timberlake. They're whatever together, and then they split up. She never talks about the breakup, and he does the Cry Me a River video.
Oh, that was his like breakout.
Does a big like in every interview that he does, he kind of like talks a little bit about it, basically saying like it wasn't me, so draw your own conclusion and
Poor
whatever.
me. Yeah.
Yes, she never says a word, and
Part of me wonders though if Justin Timberlake was made to play that role.
oh, for sure.
If
However,
like his PR team was like, this is the angle. If you want to sell Cry Me a River, if you want to be this guy, like this is how you have to play it.
Yeah.
Now you're accountable for your own shit.
Yeah.
But I think that there was other players involved.
agreed. Except I heard him on an interview. I think it might have been with Howard Stern, which is kind of gross. But they were like, right off the bat, first thing they say, they were like, "Did you fuck Britney Spears?"
Ew.
I know. And he was like, I mean, yeah. And like laughing. He's like, "No, I'm kidding. But like, draw your own conclusion." Like, first of all, yeah, gross. And second of all, then it was kind of like slut shamey to her. Why is
so
she
it's a
the
high
one?
five to him, but
So there was a magazine then that was released that was like something about sissy boy band, whatever. But hey, at least he got in Britney Spears' pants. It was so gross when I was watching this. I was like, I hate the early 2000s so much. What they did to women, the fact that we grew up.
yeah.
No wonder we're all so fucked up. Like
Yeah,
the fact
my
that we grew up and that's
internal misogyny is
Yes!
that's something I battle all the time.
It's huge because I think we all battle it. And sometimes the most misogynistic things I hear come from women.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they come from women our age or older.
Yeah.
And it's because that is the shit we grew up like demonizing.
Yeah.
It also didn't help that it happened at about the same time the Monica Lewinsky thing was going on. And that whole thing was so disgusting what they did to her when really it was the man in power who took advantage of her. That he should have been the one vilified.
Right.
But of course it was, I watched like friggin' what's his name with the chin? Jay Leno.
Oh.
I watched the thing that he was saying about both Britney Spears and Monica Lewinsky, like called them sluts. Who do you want to go home to? The girl next door or the like something slut? Blah, blah. And it was like disgusting. Yeah. Okay, so I just think getting to that, doing a little background there will help set us up for what is to come.
And I think it's important also to note that again, our only access to these people and the only thing that told us what to think about them is the media.
Yes, tabloids.
So,
Us Weekly.
They didn't have their own platforms.
No.
We did not have access to what the celebrity...
Unless they did interviews, and even then, sometimes they could skew those interviews.
Well, those interviews were guided by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
They were potentially sometimes on the defensive, like with the whole asking of the virginity question. So
gross.
I think that that was a huge shift. The power shifted from the media to the person.
Yeah.
So now if Selena Gomez Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, any of these people want to go to rehab because they are overworked, their mental health is struggling, they're battling addiction of some kind. Then they have the freedom and the power to own that story and tell it themselves to their audience rather than have it be told through the eyes of the media and have them attacked by paparazzi to and from these facilities.
Yes. So that's the next thing. So then we get to the point where after they split and she does the I'm a Slave for You and she's getting really, really big. I mean, she is like #1 pop star in America.
In the world.
Yeah. Huge. If you watch videos, which we didn't really get to see the behind the scenes part, we just would see the tabloid pictures. But the way that she has to walk through these, I mean, she is attacked as soon as she steps out of her home. And she can't even go to Starbucks to get a coffee. Like, photos of her were selling for up to $1 million a photo.
Yeah.
So these people were like, they interview a guy who's a celebrity videographer, and he's like, we just all got sucked into it because of the money. Once we could, so we stalked her, and they really did. There would be a point where a couple of guys, like her security team or the guys, would fist fight each other around her. There's times like she gets knocked in the head.
Yeah.
And so she's got the one like small little girl who's an assistant with her, and then like just one bodyguard. That's it.
Yeah.
And all of these people crowding her to and from wherever she's going all the time. And she gets to the point where when she walks outside all the time, she's like, I'm scared, guys, please back up. I'm scared. But she's so quiet, and it's sad because when you first see her get famous, she's like smiley and happy and talking to them. And then towards the end, like she looks visibly shaken when she has to come. And then add that to the mix that she meets Kevin Federline. They have a freaking insanely quick engagement. But she
within 6 months, they're married.
She says, she was like, I felt like at that point I wasn't living life. I was working, even as a child. And she's like, I just wanted to start living life. I wanted to do the normal thing. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have babies. Like, that's what I've always wanted.
Right.
She grew up in freaking Bible Belt, Louisiana. Like, that is what she aspired to do, because that's what so many people, that was like a goal. So now she's got her baby, and they're doing the same thing. Cameras are bumping into them. Like, she's trying to protect. As a mother watching this, I had tears in my eyes the entire time, because I can't imagine feeling like I can't leave my home. I mean, I think we all went through it with COVID. So just like imagine that that's your life all the time, but with babies, you can't even go outside to like.
I was thinking about this. Take the baby out of it.
Yeah.
Just go back to just her. Because they were taking these pictures, and then when they would sell them to the tabloid could say whatever they wanted about the story.
Because they didn't know.
They don't care what she's doing.
One picture of her, and it was always about her appearance. Her hair was greasy, her blah, 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 whatever.
She's let herself go. She's
like,
tipping the scales. Yes. So, but she would walk out of her home, and I just imagined being at an amusement park and being like really close to people. Yeah. But all of those people were looking at me.
Yes. The anxiety that you would have to feel 24/7.
Only from them looking at me. Now imagine they have cameras.
Ugh. And you know what those cameras are going to do.
Yes. And they don't care if they bump into you. They don't care if they bump into people that you love.
They don't care if they make you upset, because then they get a better picture.
I couldn't breathe thinking about that.
And you can watch her. She visibly is having panic attacks when you see her in some of these.
But I remember being a young adult looking at that and being like, well, what do you expect?
Look how lucky she is that all these people care.
What did you think was going to happen?
You're a celebrity. This is what happens.
This is what you get.
Yeah.
Deal with it. It was like celebrities during that time. And I know, they weren't people. Yeah. And I know that I know that in my mind, I thought Britney Spears was incompetent and crazy. And was all of these things, because that's what it was portrayed as. Yep. That all these images, I'm like, well, look at these pictures, and look at the headlines with them, and look at all these people saying that they're concerned.
Well, you get that the video then, and the picture of her driving with her less than 1-year-old child sitting on her lap. But she was like, they were literally banging on my window.
Yes.
And he was starting to scream and get scared. And I just wanted to get out of there. And the only way to go was to move my car.
And at that point in time, people had been scaling buildings to get photos of her, punching in windows, like breaking them.
And it was scaring her children.
Oh,
and
yeah.
at that point, she was also pregnant, I believe. So she's pregnant again. They did say that she suffered from postpartum depression. So again, as somebody, we don't talk about that enough. And we definitely didn't talk about it enough back then.
Not at all.
It was like it's your fault for suffering from postpartum depression when it was talked about with her. It was like, well, then she shouldn't have her kids if she has postpartum depression.
Yes.
So fucked up.
Which made how many people then just want to hide?
Yes.
Want to never come out about it, because look at how. And I think that's why I never wanted to talk about any of my anxiety, any of my fears, any of my internal struggles. I never wanted to talk about them, because not only with Britney Spears, but with Lindsay Lohan, with the Olsen twins, with Paris Hilton, with all these people who were whose stories were being told incorrectly.
Yep.
All I kept thinking is like, well, that's bad.
And look at how all these people around us are talking about
Yes.
them. They're going to talk about me like that if they find out. Yeah, it was like, you think mental health is stigma now. Back then it was like, it doesn't matter what your mental health disorder is. You're crazy. That's all we're labeling you. And there is no coming back from it.
Yep.
So her and Kevin Federline get a divorce when their youngest son is like 6 months old. And they go through a custody battle. They both want full custody. At this point, I believe, no, maybe it wasn't around here, but there was something going on with her dad and the kids there that like Kevin Federline wanted him not near the kids.
I think he just wanted them in general. And there was originally no prenup.
Yeah.
And then they finally got him to sign something, but they both went for full custody. And I think it was I don't know if it was the car incident, and then she tripped while she was pregnant holding him.
And he like looks like he's going to fall, but she caught him.
Yeah.
But she has a glass of water in one hand and him.
Yeah.
And she trips. Yeah. I saw that picture too. And again, it was, when you look at the picture, but God, how many I used to accidentally smack my kid's head off of doorways. It happens.
Every single time he gets in the car.
If I had somebody literally like taking pictures of my every move, I would be painted as a terrible mother. I think we all would.
Any version of you can be told if someone is documenting every little second.
Yeah, because they can cut out the parts where she's being such a sweet, loving mother.
The amount of times I have taken a photo of a mother-son dance and they go to kiss like on the cheek, but I catch them mid-act and it looks like they're kissing on the mouth and they look like the couple. Sometimes I include it in the album.
Just to be like, this is just for you.
Yeah. Do with that what you will. But like photos can tell a different story than what really happened.
For sure. When we took my engagement once, I was a full-on gopher. It was very alarming that my face could do that. No, I'm just kidding. But, okay. So now we get to the point where I think Kevin gets full custody of the kids. And I'm not really sure why or how. It's not really out. But he did get full custody.
No, I think it was because, I don't remember 100%, but I think it had something to do with Britney went... I don't know.
Was this when she had visitations but didn't let them go back? Because I am going to talk about that part.
No. There was something that happened where she had to go and... Was that when the conservatorship was only supposed to be for like 3 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so before that, she goes and shaves her head.
Yes.
Huge fucking thing. Now, when she's in there, the person, the barber or whoever was in there, they wouldn't do it for her. They were like, absolutely not. And she's like, well, give me the clippers and I'll do it myself. And he says that she said, quote, I don't want anyone touching me. I'm tired of everyone touching me. Mm-hmm. That's what she said. And I think it was like when people hear that, they think like, oh, it's because everybody was doing her hair all the time and it was such a big thing. But I think it was also the fact that she thought, if I take away this sex symbol part of me, if I take away this beauty part, this what makes me famous, maybe these people will leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
I watched a video with her doing another interview, and have you ever seen, they make it a meme, where she goes, I don't know. And then she starts crying, and she's like,
oh, yeah.
That's like a big meme. The question he asked is, do you ever think the paparazzi are going to leave you alone?
Yeah.
And then he said, do you want them to? And she like starts crying and like, she's like, that's all I want.
Yeah.
So I think at that point she was just like, how do I get these fucking people to leave me alone?
Right.
Which of course backfired because then they were like, holy shit, she shaved her head, which who among us? You know,
Yeah.
like I will shave my head tomorrow, you
Yeah.
know? Who's to say that means that she's unwell?
Right.
But then a couple days after that, she goes to see her Kevin Federline. He won't let her in to see her children for whatever reason. God, we've all...
I thought that happened the day that she got her head shaved.
No. The umbrella incident? It did not. I thought so too. But it was like a couple either days or weeks later. So
Got it.
they do the interview with the guy who it was his car that she attacked.
Listen, I watched so many videos today that like I do not. Well, this whole week.
Timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I had to write shit down. Because
Yeah.
I was like, so she goes to try to see her kids. Kevin won't let her in. She goes to a gas station. She's with her cousin, I think it is, or a friend of hers. And they're hounding her, and she's visibly upset. Again, as somebody who's been there, who's been in a custody battle,
Yeah.
like not knowing what's going to happen and if you're going to lose your children, that is the scare. I had panic attacks every single day.
Yeah.
I remember being at work one time and I got a message saying that I wasn't allowed to go pick him up and that if I had to go pick him up, I had to have somebody with me, like that it was just going to be a fight.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that I realized, like, oh shit,
Yeah.
this isn't going to be just a simple whatever. And I had to leave work because I was having chest pain so bad. I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So knowing that that's what she felt, then she's got these fucking people hounding her again.
Right.
And she goes to get out of the car at the gas station. He's like, Brittany, just a couple questions. Can I just ask you? And she's got an umbrella and she turns around and she's like, fuck you, and starts beating the shit out of his car with the umbrella, which again, good for her because I probably would have gone after the people. So at least she went after your car.
Yeah.
Then she gets back in. Well, of course, that picture of her with the umbrella sold for like
Oh yeah.
a shit ton.
Oh, yeah.
So they got what they wanted.
Yep.
Which is disgusting because then again, she was painted as somebody, I think it was right after that she went for her first psychiatric visit in a hospital. And she starts becoming like an international punchline on the media. Like I watched a Family Feud clip where they were like, what's things that Britney Spears lost?
It was her mind.
Her mind, her husband, her children, her hair. Like, it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
That people are, it's going to make me emotional again. But so then the second time, she has a visit from her children. And when Kevin comes to get them, she doesn't let them go.
Yeah. The story is that her cousin assistant, because her cousin was her assistant, but I don't know if it was still her cousin at the time or if she had a different assistant.
Yeah.
But the assistant told her, the police are going to go away. Just give it a minute. Don't worry. And 2 hours go by. And so she's just in the bathroom holding her youngest son because her older one was escorted out to the car.
Oh, thank you. Because I didn't know the situation with that.
Yeah.
So when they finally get him, they admit her again to a psychiatric hospital. And it's then.
They took her out on a gurney.
Yeah.
They took her out of her home on a gurney. Like firemen broke down the door.
Oh my
and
God.
she was just standing there holding the baby. She was like, I was lied to. I was told to just stay in here and that everything was okay.
Yeah. This isn't my, don't, whatever.
Yeah. And
But
I
of
know
course-
that people may not know like if that's true or not, but
But here's the thing. If the media, if her story of shaving her head and all that hadn't been as public as it was, do you think they would have taken it that far?
right.
I don't. Because I've had things like that were misunderstandings. I've missed because when you have custody battles like that, you have set, like you have to be here at this timeline. If you don't, the cops can come and like.
Right. And it
I
was
knew
2
that.
hours she was in there and hadn't returned the other son.
But I've had that happen
Yeah.
before. And I just explained, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I forgot what time it was. No big deal.
Yeah.
Literally a privilege for me.
Right.
For her, because the world was looking at her as already crazy. They had already predetermined that she had lost her mind.
Yeah.
Then, I think that
Right.
added to it. So at this point is when her dad files for temporary conservatorship.
Yeah.
And this is where the whole thing gets where we're going. But a conservatorship, I wrote the definition because it's important to know. It's a legal status to which a court appoints a person to manage an incapacitated or incompetent individual's finances or personal assets or a minor's financial affairs. Okay, so that's important. The two words incompetent or incapacitated.
Yeah. It was created for basically people in comas.
Or like dementia patients,
Yes.
like Alzheimer patients, people who your family members don't want you to get financially taken advantage of. You know what I mean?
Disabilities.
Yes. But this is like when you talked, like they
But I'll even say that even my students who were severe on the autism spectrum, Down syndrome, they had more control over their money. Maybe not to the extent of like a $40 million, empire, but they had a lot of autonomy that she was not granted.
Yep. So they say that it was just they didn't want her because her mental whatever was so bad that it was just going to be temporary so that she didn't accidentally like blow all of her money on whatever the fuck. Well, then she has a court date. She gets an attorney. Okay. And she tells her attorney, I understand that I have to do this and the conservatorship. Just please don't let it be my dad.
Yeah.
Let it be anybody else but my dad. A professional, a bank. Sometimes a bank can be a conservator and so they can keep track of your money and like whatever. Just don't let it be my dad. Well, of course, her fucking dad is the guy who they appoint. Her attorney goes to the court the day that they go to file it like as a real thing. And the judge tells her attorney, I know what's in this medical report. I'm not going to show you what's in this report. But based on this report, we've determined that she's not of sound mind to have her own counsel. So we're going to appoint somebody for her.
I'd also like to mention that anyone who is about to go through a conservatorship battle, like they're going to go to court for it, is supposed to be notified 5 days before. She was not.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they are allowed to have their own counsel. And the interview that was deemed the reason that she was considered incompetent, allegedly, was 15 minutes long.
Really?
Yeah. And happened like a couple days before.
So
she was like not made aware of anything.
And that's the thing. They say she consented to it, but she was like, yeah, I consented to the temporary one. I did not consent for it to be and I said that I didn't want my dad to be.
Right.
And I wanted my own legal counsel. Like her attorney was like, the way I was talking to her, she was completely competent. She was completely capable. And then, not to mention the fact that they get the guy they appoint to her. He's making $10,000 a week.
Oh, I think he made like $450,000
in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's for both of them. So she's paying her attorney. She's
And
paying
her
her dad and her dad's attorney. Yes.
Is that not the biggest conflict of interest ever?
Thank you.
How is anyone supposed to advocate for her when they're on her payroll?
That's exactly what it is. How is anybody supposed to advocate for her when they're making money off of this situation?
Yeah.
Why would you want to go and get her out of this when you're getting paid $10,000 a week?
And I'm not paying for my dad's lawyer if I don't want my dad to be my conservator.
No.
Find your own lawyer. Pay for your own lawyer, Dad.
But of course now he's in charge of all the things. So he gets to decide. It's fucking ridiculous. She was spending over $1 million every year on legal fees.
Do you know what her budget was? $200,000 a year. They gave her $200,000 a year. Now, do I know that that's for sure? For sure? No, this came from the internet.
Right.
But
yeah.
Jesus
Christ. Okay, so on October 28th, 2008, the conservatorship then becomes permanent. And Britney consented to this because she was told that, to the temporary one, because she was told that it was the only way that she'd be allowed to see her kids again. So she was like, sure, if that's what I have to fucking do, fine.
Which
you
they
can handle
used her
my
children.
finances. Yes, I just want to see my kids again.
Knowing full goddamn well that she just made sure that she's going to have limited to no contact with her children.
Exactly.
Did no one think about what that's going to do to those kids? Not to mention, obviously, it's horrific and tragic for her, but you just robbed this woman of how many years of mothering these children, and how much did you rob those children of?
Yep. Exactly.
Do you care?
No.
No, I'm not saying like if she was a danger for those children to be around, like obviously in that case, like I would want them to be protected from someone who is not going to be healthy for them. But we don't know that, and we'll never know that.
Yeah.
because she didn't get the help that she needed.
Exactly. There was also a part, you just reminded me kind of a little bit of this, but there was a part where she's really young and she goes, I think it was maybe the Mickey Mouse Club, and they interview a woman who was working there, and she was like, her mom was super like supportive, wanted her to do really well. She was like, when her dad was around, I didn't really hear anything out of him, like about what was going on, except one time he said, I don't care what she does, I just want her to buy me a boat someday. Isn't that
Yucky,
fucking disgusting?
Do you know he sealed her medical records so her mom couldn't even see them?
Oh, that's not surprising at all. At all. But that's when you were talking about that, I was just like, he doesn't care because he cares about money.
Right.
Or at least that's how it seems.
Right.
Because also, it turns out that he was physically abusive and would get violent when he would drink to them when they were younger.
And to her children.
And then Kevin Federline takes out a restraining order against Britney's dad so that he's not allowed to see Kevin or the kids because he had a physical altercation with one of her sons.
Right.
And because he controls who Britney can see, now she can't see her children, which is absolutely horrific. Andrew Wallet is the attorney who was working with her dad, who was getting paid that $450,000 a year or whatever. Yeah. There's a point where he is doing legal things and he refers to it as less of a conservatorship and more of a hybrid business model, which, I'm sorry, it shouldn't be a hybrid business model if she's clearly incapable and incompetent, or incapacitated and incompetent. How the fuck? Do you know how much money she made in this time? She did 3 albums, 4-year Vegas residency, which she made $138 million doing that.
Holy shit.
It was one of the most successful Vegas residencies of all time. She had numerous TV appearances. She was on The X Factor as a judge.
How I Met Your Mother, which was just like not a whole lot as much as The X Factor. But,
but you know, she did
I wanted
tours.
to note that she did How I Met Your Mother like right after she got out of rehab.
Yeah.
So like they took her immediately out of there and put her back to work.
Yes.
That seems rather quick for someone who's
incapacitated.
Yeah.
Not to mention, if she's so incapacitated, when they talked to backup dancers, they were like, oh, Britney wasn't the type of person that they were like, stand here, do this, do that. She was choreographing everybody.
Yeah.
It was her shows.
Yeah.
Like she was telling people this is what we're going to do. So everything you see in those shows is her. Like she's coming up with most of those ideas, or at least.
Sounds like a crazy person.
Yeah. Obviously somebody who doesn't have, whatever. So she goes on to have one of the biggest comebacks of all time, and doesn't even get to. Her net worth is like $60 million right now. She doesn't even get to touch that.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can find this.
And she can't drive. She can only go on vacation when they tell her to. She can't leave.
Yep.
She can't do anything. So what's the point of making all of this money? She can't see her children.
No. On September 9th, 2019, her dad temporarily steps down as the personal conservator.
So the conservator of her person.
Yes.
There's one of her person
and one of her finances.
Yeah.
So he steps down as her personal one. And it's
Jody something.
Montgomery? I think it's Montgomery.
Sure.
Whatever.
This is all alleged. We don't know.
Sure, yeah. Don't sue us, my God.
Yeah.
But he has like health issues. And at this time, she is supposed to be starting another residency in Vegas. It's like at the MGM or something. It's supposed to be a big friggin' thing.
Yep.
And so they have like a whole night set up to it where she's going to get off of this thing. She's going to perform, and then she's going to go talk and tell everybody, announce this new residency. And she pops out of the thing. Everybody's been waiting there like all night. It's on live YouTube streams and stuff. She pops up. She walks straight to the car. Doesn't say a fucking word to anybody. And then later.
A boss move, honestly.
Yes, it really is.
Yeah.
So later on social media, she says, sorry, residency's canceled. And then she goes missing for like weeks.
There was a whole Where's Britney movement.
Yeah. Hashtag Where's Britney. So what she says is that she decided to tell them, I'm done fucking working.
Yeah.
I'm not making you any more money.
Right.
So I don't know if that was planned that she was, or if she was just like,
Yep.
But that's fucking awesome if she was.
For sure.
So she's like, I'm not going to make you any money. Well, when that happened, she was checked into a mental health like rehab again against her will.
Right.
As I'm assuming a fucking punishment.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, well, you won't make us money when I get to stay in this place for a while.
You want to work or do you want to sit in here?
Yep. So
take your pick, girly.
Yep. So they say that she stepped down because she was helping take care of her father, but really she was in this fucking place for months. And then when she finally comes out, because she had been doing all these things on Instagram, you know, subtly leaving messages. And when she gets out, her Instagram all of a sudden changes. And things are written off instead of like the actual emojis. They're doing like just the semicolon and the parentheses.
Oh, yeah, like the old school emoticons.
Yes. And everybody is like, what is this? Isn't her that's writing these things. That's just a little bit of this conspiracy part. I don't know if that, but it just was interesting how
the dynamic
changed.
They're like, we have to. It seemed like someone was trying to take back her voice.
Yes. To be like, oh, well, you won't do this for me. Punish her. I mean, it really just seems like someone is trying to punish her.
Yeah.
So let's see. On March 31st, on April 27th, she has a court hearing and her attorney requests that she be allowed to speak about her conservatorship at her next court hearing. That's this year. So June 22nd, the New York Times publishes a report based on previously sealed court documents that reveal Spears has been pushing back against the conservatorship more frequently and for longer than anybody has known. Before this time, nobody knew that she had like been this actively against it, especially because if that's a factor for most of these conservatorships that I was watching lawyers do interviews, that's something that needs to be taken into account. Like if they're capable enough to say, I don't need this, I don't want this, know what it is and know what it's doing to them, then they should be able to decide.
Right.
Their voice should be heard, at least. She's been She's been questioning her father's fitness to serve as her conservator since the beginning, basically, is what they said. On June 23rd, she delivers a scathing rebuke of her conservatorship in court. Some of the things she says, quote, all I want is to own my money and for this to end and for my boyfriend to be able to fucking drive me in his car. And honestly, I want to be able to sue my family.
Yeah. I know she talked about too how she never said anything before because she didn't think people would believe her. She saw how people treated others who came forward and how people reacted. The PTSD that she must have from that whole experience.
Not to mention they were heavily medicating her with lithium against her will.
Yes.
She was on lithium that she was like, I did not want to take. They made me take it. They made her get an IUD so that she could not have children. She was not allowed to get married. Like all of these things
I was watching a lawyer speak about this and she was saying like that people are making the comparison to them forcing this IUD on her to force sterilization.
Yes.
And she's like,
this is some Handmaid's Tale type shit.
Yeah. She's like, even if she's not sterilized, an IUD is 99% effective. So it is basically sterile.
And what do you think they're going to do if she gets pregnant? What do you think they're going to make her do?
Well, also, they have done this for how many years? She's 39 years old now. So what? She gets this IUD out. Now it's a high risk pregnancy.
Yep.
Is she even going to be able to conceive? They took her baby making years
away from her.
Not saying that you can't have a child later, but it comes with health risks.
Yes.
It is more difficult.
Yeah, it's more difficult to conceive and it is higher risk pregnancies, especially after having an IUD for that long.
Right.
She says they've done a pretty good job exploiting my life. She says she compares herself to a sex trafficking victim while describing a life in which she's forced to work every day. She said the people who did this to me should not be able to get away and walk away easily.
Yeah. One of the conspiracy theories basically says that this was a plan from the beginning. They realized that this was a business model that they could kind of put some things in place to basically get themselves a cash cow.
Yep. Which is what that's how
that
they
were
treated her.
making moves, that they were putting teams together on the back end to make sure that she didn't have a voice, that she didn't have access to counsel. They've had all the loopholes worked out. They tried to do it to Lindsay Lohan too.
And Amanda Bynes, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. I think Amanda Bynes might still be in a conservatorship. I don't know that for sure. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Ugh, it's absolutely terrible. I don't know anything. I just know that I knew of those two.
Yeah.
She says, I truly believe that this conservatorship is abusive. July 30th. So Jamie, her dad, calls for an inquiry into the claims that she levels during the testimony.
Is this 2020?
Yes. This is all 2020,
Okay.
these dates. Along with calling for the inquiry, Jamie's attorney files a separate set of documents pushing back against some of Spears' claims in her testimony, specifically regarding how much control he has in the conservatorship. For instance, the filing alleged it wasn't Jamie, but Spears' personal conservator, Jody Montgomery, so I was right with their last name, who had been fully in charge of Miss Spears' day-to-day personal care and medical treatment since September 2019. Either fucking way, dude, you're doing some shady shit. So...
Yeah. You know that Jody was a professional conservator?
That's a job?
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah. She got paid for it, and she was a conservator to multiple people.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know multiple people at the same time, but yeah, it was her job.
Wow. July 1st, the judge denies Spears' request to remove her father from her ongoing conservatorship. This is the part where I thought that I'm like, oh, fuck, well, we're over. But the decision was not made in response to her June 23rd testimony.
2021?
It was to her, 2021? Oh, I'm sorry. All of these are from 2021. I apologize.
Okay.
Not 2020. I still think that we're in 2020.
Well, you just said July 30th, so that would have been 2020.
Sorry, July 1st is what this is? June 23rd. When did I say July 30th?
I thought a second ago.
No, July 1st.
So that's when I was like 2020?
July 1st is this, and it says the decision was not made in response to Spears' June 23rd testimony, but in response to the November 2020 request she had made. And then,
guys, we're not professionals, okay? So we're just like hanging out trying to read shit. So.
I have been literally eyeballs to Britney Spears' life all fucking, she said, all week. So it's been just a lot of information coming at me that I really had.
A lot of dates.
A lot of fucking dates.
A lot of dates. A lot of stuff.
Legality terms that honestly overwhelm the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
So apologies. July 3rd. Maybe that's why I said 30th, because I was looking down at that date. The New Yorker publishes more details about the conservatorship battle, including that Spears has shown some disapproval since 2008. The piece also states that Spears called 911 the night before her testimony to report herself as a victim of abuse from the conservatorship. July 6th, her longtime manager, Larry Rudolph, resigns. Oh, also,
because she is going to retire, and he's like, what's the point?
Yeah. Citing the singer's apparent desire to retire, he addressed the drama surrounding I like the drama. Like, it's fucking straight up abuse, but sure, it's drama. Surrounding the conservatorship, and distanced himself from it, saying, I've never been a part of this, nor its operations, so I am not privy to many details. But in her June 23rd testimony, Spears highlighted some of the professional pressures placed on her by her managers, including that she do a 2018 tour.
Yeah.
So, also, this Andrew Wallet guy, he, in 2019, after he makes all that money, decides to quit for some weird reason. And when he's asked about it, he says that it's a personal danger to Spears if he stays on. And I don't know, it's real freaking cryptic.
Is that the lawyer?
That was her dad's attorney guy. So it's real cryptic the way that he says it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's 100% but basically it was something that was a danger to her safety if he stayed on.
Oh, how about recently Jody Montgomery asked for round 24/7 security because everyone's been receiving death threats since this.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And the dad said no. The dad was like, no.
I think I'll be fine. Let's fucking see it out.
Yeah.
Okay, July 7th. Jody Montgomery tells the courts that she's been getting death threats since her Spears' public statements. She asked the court to allow the conservatorship estate to continue to pay for the 24/7 security. So yes, that's all of this. Since Miss Spears has, this quote, has requested that petitioner retain her position as conservator. Petitioner has no intention of abandoning her by resigning because of these threats. But maybe you should.
Well, Britney, I think, asked her to come on. She did. She wanted her to be...
Because she wanted a professional. She was like, I don't care. I just don't want my dad. I'll have a professional.
Yeah.
Just don't let my dad do it.
If someone can make that decision, if someone has the wherewithal to do all of the things that she's doing, I don't understand how they can keep her in this. And I know that so many things are sealed. I know that we don't know. I think there was an alleged substance abuse accusation. I think there was alleged bipolar diagnosis.
Many people live with those and do fine.
Because if this happened
that
now...
is, again, putting more of a stigma onto people with mental health issues that they are completely incapable of running their own lives, which is fucking ridiculous.
Same thing with the IUD. If they put that IUD in her because they don't think she's fit to be a mother, then they are saying people with mental health disorders aren't fit to be mothers, and that's fucked up. And if they're not saying mental health, if they're saying that there's some other kind of disability that she has, that's saying that people with disabilities aren't fit to be mothers, which is also fucked up.
Yep. When you go to her court cases, there's a big Free Britney movement, obviously, but then there's like the American Disability Association are there because they're like, fuck you. This is going to set a precedent, because right now this is unprecedented that she is this young and that it's gone on for this long and that she's made that much money being incompetent and incapacitated. That's never happened ever.
You know what breaks my heart about this whole thing? I don't know why I'm getting emotional. Britney Spears, I don't know you at all.
No, I cried
you
all
were
day
at one
today.
of my first concerts. Yeah. My youngest sister is in love with you.
Yeah.
Or well, she was. You were like her idol when we were growing up.
Still is.
I don't know. But what breaks my heart about all of this is that this is her legacy now.
I know.
That everything, I hope to God.
Because she was the biggest
pop star
ever in her time.
Yep.
This is what people will remember.
Yes. Yes.
Or the breakdown.
Yep.
Which is like, look at everything she did.
People can come back from a breakdown. Like, so many people had horrific breakdowns. Like, you could even say that, like, everything that happened with Michael Jackson, it still didn't overshadow, like, the music side of him.
That he had,
But, like, the fact that this conservatorship and, like, the Free Britney the Free Britney movement has gone on for so long, like, that seems like what people are, when you say Britney Spears now, that's what people are going to remember. And that breaks my fucking heart, because she's worth so much more than that. And I know I'm guilty of speaking poorly on her growing up.
Even recently, I feel like even when I started seeing some of her Instagram posts, I was like, oh, look, it's crazy Britney again.
Yep.
And it's like, what? I've had a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I've literally been that person who's had to be like committed.
Yeah.
I know how this is. Why would that go to my head? But it was, again, just what I've been fed. Like,
yes.
And I thought, if I talk down about her, then I feel better about myself. Well, at least I'm not that crazy.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
She has had horrible, horrible, horrible things done to her. She has been treated as less than human for her whole life, I would say. She has always been treated as, you're not a person, you're a celebrity.
Machine.
You're a machine. You're a cash cow. You are a, I don't know.
Dancing monkey.
Yes.
All eyes on you in the middle of a ring, just like a circus.
Yes. So, what is next? Hopefully. This says, if Rudolph's resignation is any indication, others involved in the conservatorship could be stepping down soon as well. That's what everybody's fucking hoping for.
Everyone's going to be jumping ship.
Well,
and
here's the thing, especially because all eyes are on them now.
In the center of a ring, just
like
a circus.
Yep. This said, it's also possible that Spears may soon officially file a petition to terminate the conservatorship. Now, they don't say which Spears. I'm assuming her dad, because she can't. It has to be the conservator, not the conservatee, that files.
She can file a petition to end it.
She has. And it's got no, I think that's what this is she's filed to end it.
Yeah, but they haven't come to a conclusion yet.
Yeah, but why would it say may soon officially file a petition if she's already filed it? They just haven't reached a decision yet.
I don't think she's filed it yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I think she had testimony with intent to file.
Oh.
I can't say that for sure. Remember, we're just people who don't know dick
I don't
from
know
shit.
anything about the legal system, you guys.
No.
There's a reason I am not an attorney. It's because I fucking don't know big words like that. This says the next court date in the saga is currently set for July 14th.
It's coming up.
Yes, and the hearings will focus on
wait a minute.
Bessemer Trust.
This comes out on July 14th. It's today, everybody. No, I lied. The 13th.
Ah, fuck.
It's tomorrow, everybody.
Well, this hearing is going to focus on Bessemer Trust. Their petition, they want to remove themselves as a planned co-conservator. So they are like a big bank, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be taking over some of the financial stuff. And now even they're like, we don't want anything to do with this.
Yeah.
Which makes me a little sad because I want her dad to not have any control over it. At the same time, he is having health issues. So, like, you know, I'm just saying.
We're not wishing ill on anyone.
I
but
would never. But,
it's gotta
like,
be someone.
if I had to wish it on anybody.
Yeah. Don't make me, but I will.
So that's what I have. It's
Yeah.
a whole lot of information coming at you guys. I'm sure you knew most of it, but I wanted to fill everybody in and talk about just like, I don't know. I am sad that I partook in as much of it as I did growing up and even recently, where I was just like, I don't know. It seemed like she wasn't a real person, so she was just there for my entertainment because she had been there for our entertainment.
And I think part of the problem was too that she, for a long time, whether she was forced to say this or not, was making posts saying that she was happy and that no one needed to be concerned.
Yes.
And so it kind of led you to believe that, like, oh, maybe she does have something going on that makes this necessary, and she recognizes that now, and she's getting the help that she needs. But she was even talking about in her testimony that the therapy she's getting is not helpful. It's forced. Like, I think that she's going to have to do crazy backflips in order to get through her trauma, her therapy related trauma.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a challenge.
The thing that's sad is
to trust someone.
Exactly. The thing that's sad right now is besides her fans that are doing the Free Britney movement, it seems like nobody is in her corner, in her inner circle, is really advocating for her because they're all benefiting off of it in some way.
Right.
And that is fucking heartbreaking because you just need one person in her corner.
Yeah.
And I think her mom is trying to a little bit. I know that her mom has but she's liked things for the Free Britney movement online.
Her brother made some comment that was
fuck her brother.
Honestly, he made some comment that was like, well, she hasn't driven in a really long time. That's going to be hard. She's not made a reservation. It's like, that's what you want to take her life away because she's going to have difficulty making a reservation? I haven't been to the dentist in 6 years, okay? You want to take my car?
Yeah, literally. Okay. I watched a little bit of that interview that he does or whatever, and the guy was like, what do you think about everything that's going on? And he's like, well, listen, it's just kind of like all the women in my family have like, they're very strong-willed, and they just do whatever they want. And that's really hard for us as like me, one of the only two guys. And the guy was like, that they're practicing their constitutional right. And he's like, well, yeah, it sounds worse than what I'm
it's
saying,
like so annoying, though.
It's so annoying that they can do whatever they want. Like, that shouldn't be allowed. Like, the way he was talking, I was just like, just say that you want to control the women in your life. Because that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And if that's any glimpse into the way that your dad views the women in his family, then of course we can see that he's treating his daughter like...
You know what, though? If this was happening today, if all of the things that happened back in 2007, 2008 happened today, she would not be in this conservatorship.
Nope.
That would not be the outcome.
No, because look at Demi Lovato.
Look at Demi Lovato. Look at Miley Cyrus. Look at Selena Gomez. Look at Justin Bieber. Look at...
all of these pop stars who have had public breakdowns, public mental breakdowns, are all treated with... a little bit more of like a humanity.
Yeah, and I think it's because they can more control their voice. Yeah.
Yes.
As they should.
Yeah. And
no one made the road easy for them. I'd like to say that because they got their shit handed to them and weren't treated kindly. But
well, and nobody's saying that it wasn't hard. Like, but it's just, they don't have somebody controlling. The thing that it struck me when someone said it is if this was a young pop star who was a boy, who was a young man, would this have ever happened?
Probably
it never has.
Right.
And we've seen multiple young, like friggin' Robert Downey Jr. and
Kanye
Joaquin
West.
Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix, Kanye West. Everybody, again, I thought we were going to have
Scared
another.
the shit out of me.
I thought we were going to have another tequila all over your self situation.
Nope.
But all of those guys who have had, again, public breakdowns, nobody's taken their assets away from them. Nobody's taken their money away from them. No one's taken their personal ability to have children, to get married, to do whatever the fuck they want to do with their lives away from them. But we see it with these 3 young girls who, you know, grew up in the spotlight. Why?
Right.
It's just sad. It's fucking terrible that we, as a society, allowed this to happen and turned our back on it. I'm fucking glad that there's a huge movement now.
Yeah.
And it's sad that some of it is conspiracy theories because, of course, everybody's going to take that shit and run. I heard that she was, like, being abducted by aliens or something. Like, it was crazy.
Wow.
But if it's
Hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. But at least if it's getting some kind of attention, it makes me feel a little bit better about what the fuck we did or didn't do for a long time.
Let's all manifest the freedom of Britney Spears.
God, seriously.
And hopefully we hear positive news tomorrow.
Yeah.
On this decision. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I don't know if that was like fun to listen to or not. If you guys if that's what you were looking for. We've wanted to talk about Britney Spears, and we really wanted to.
Super funny because you know it's not a really funny situation.
No, and you guys, we're not funny all the time. Conversations with your friends aren't funny all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're serious, and this is some serious shit. And
Oh, wait a minute. I want to shout out to my sister real quick because
okay.
she bought me this mug. She bought us these mugs.
one too for me. TT12 Bones, you're a real one.
You are. So it's our Ladies and Tangents, our first logo, and it says "Family is Forever." She didn't really want this banner, but they made her get one, so it was between this and Number One Dad.
I really would have fucked with a Number One Dad one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But the back I love because it says "Let your voice be heard," and
So
that's
cute.
friggin' what we're doing because.
So sweet.
I'm sad that Britney's finally letting her voice be heard, and that's the most important thing in the world because for so long, none of us have been able to really know what she thinks about it. And her voice and her thoughts about this are the only thing that's important.
Yep. So, thanks, guys. We will be with you. With a bonus coming out this Friday. Yay! So thanks for hanging out. We love you so much.
We do.
That's that on Britney, bitch.
Yeah.
All right. We're out. That's not your part. That's that on It's Britney, bitch.
All right.
We're out.
Goodbye.